What's up, YouTube? This is BystanderX79, guys. Today, I'm bringing to you my latest deck profile video for February 2020, and today we're going to be looking at my updated Metalfoes Kozmo deck. Alright? Now, the last version of this deck I posted was early last month in January, before the Banlist dropped, and when the Banlist dropped, it kind of roughed up the deck, considering that I was running the True Draco engine inside the deck. To really help get things going. Diagram helps search out the True Draco spells and traps, which can offer spot removal both for back row and front row, also as extra draw power when you utilize Draco Phoenix or Heritage to help move things from your deck into your hand, which is pretty awesome. Unfortunately, testing the deck with just one diagram wasn't working out. The deck faltered to really get started, and I had to cut the engine completely out of the deck. With that being said, started testing a lot of different things with the deck, and I realized leaning more heavily towards the Kozmo side of the deck was the better way to go. We can get an easy OTK going with the deck because Kozmos can OTK easily by picking apart boards, as well as just putting out really powerful beat sticks. Okay? With that being said, there's also other control elements in the deck to help hold your opponent down, just so you can help get yourself started. So without further ado, we're going to get right into this deck. Alright? And of course, we're going to start with the monsters. First, there's Kozmo ships. 3 copies of Kozmo Dark Destroyer. It's pretty standard in all Kozmo decks now. Whenever this guy is summoned, you target one of your opponent's monsters, destroy it. Alright? And all Kozmo ships have the ability to turn around when they're destroyed by battle or card effect, and then hit the graveyard. You can banish it and then special summon another Kozmo monster from your deck to the field under a particular level. This one, Destroyer, is basically level 7 or lower Kozmo monster, which is actually pretty good. Alright. Moving on. I am running 1 copy of Kozmo Dark Eclipser. This is basically a 4/3000 attack point body in the deck. Very handy. Unlike the other Kozmo ships, this one doesn't float. It actually searches when it's destroyed and banished. So you can add a Kozmo monster from your deck to your hand that's level 8 or lower. It does also have another cool effect. While this card's in the field and your opponent acts as a trap card, you can actually, and have a Kozmo monster in the graveyard, you can actually banish that Kozmo monster to negate the activation of that trap. Alright? Doesn't really come up that often, but hey, just having that ability does work out. Alright. Kozmo Forerunner. Alright. Awesome ship to have. During standby phase, you gain 1,000 life points each turn while it's face up, which is awesome. And you can search out a level 6 or lower Kozmo monster when it's popped and banished out of the graveyard. Last but not least, you have 2 copies of Kozmo Sliprider. You need 2 in this deck, primarily just to turn around and pop things off your side of the field more than often than your opponent's. But it is very handy to take things off your opponent's side of the field as well. It is level 5, so you can actually tribute summon it in a pinch in case you need to get it out. And whenever this card is summoned, like I said, you pop spells and traps on the field, which is huge. It gets destroyed and banished. You get to turn around and special summon a level 4 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck, which is pretty awesome. Alright, moving forward. We got 2 copies of Kozmo Farm Girl. Alright, Farm Girl is basically the OTK inhibitor for the deck. Whenever she inflicts battle damage, you can pay 500 life points to search out any other Kozmo card from your deck to your hand, which is just awesome. Alright, all of the Kozmo Psychic Pilot monsters have the ability to banish themselves to special summon a Kozmo ship from their hand. Or another Kozmo monster from their hand to the field, which is actually pretty damn awesome. So you can actually climb up the levels via the monsters and actually really put some serious damage on the board. Okay, 2 copies of Kozmo Strawman. Strawman is actually very awesome in this deck. Pay 500 life points, you're getting a Kozmo monster from your banish zone back onto the field, but its effects are negated and it's destroyed at the end of the turn. Typically, you're going to be wanting to bring back your ships with this effect, just so you can get that extra monster from the deck to the field ASAP. Alright. Running 2 copies of Kozmo, Dark Lady. Dark Lady is just an amazing card. Pay 1,000 life points, and you're basically negating the activation of one of your monsters, opponent's monsters' effects, which is actually pretty damn awesome, and it destroys the card. Alright, so definitely worth having in the deck for that negate and control purpose. And of course, we are running 1 copy of Kozmo, Wicked Witch. I like Wicked Witch in this deck primarily because she can be utilized as a wall monster. Pay 1,000 life points, and you're basically getting a monster that can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, so it's just going to sit there on the field unless your opponent tributes it off, utilizing something like a kaiju or something like that. It's going to be a problem for your opponent to get over. Alright, that's it for the Kozmo monsters. Metalfoes, 1 copy of Rare Metalfoes Gear. Gear has a monster effect whenever it's destroyed by battle or card effect, whether it be in the monster zone or in the pendulum zone. You're going to get a search for a Metalfoes monster to add to your hand during the end phase, which is actually pretty cool. And all Metalfoes have the same scale effect where you can target a face-up card you control, not just monsters. Destroy it, and then you can basically set a Metalfoes spell or trap card from your deck to the field, which is damn awesome. Alright, and for the other Metalfoes, I run 1 copy of Silvered, 2 Gold Drivers, and 2 Volflames. Volflames is pretty awesome, level 7, 2400 attack point monster. So, that's it for the monster lineup. Moving into the spells. 3 copies of Kozmo Town. Kozmo Town is very key in this deck, so you want to be seeing it as soon as possible. Basically, what it does, it allows you to shuffle back unneeded Kozmo cards from your hand to your deck and draw equal number of cards as you shuffle back, which is awesome. Okay, you can pay life points equal to a Kozmo monster that's banished to add it back to your hands. Alright, and then when this card is popped, you get a search for another Kozmo card from your deck to your hand, which is actually pretty awesome. Alright, so you could actually pop this card with Slipwriter or even the Metalfoes Scales effect and be able to plus hard off of it. Alright, to see your Kozmo Towns, we're running 1 Terraforming, 2 Demise a Land. When your opponent special summons, you can actually just bring out the monster. And of course, we have 1 Set Rotation. Set Rotation is actually pretty awesome. Basically, what happens is that you can actually give your opponent either Kozmo Town or the other field spell in this deck, and set it. And then while at least one of the cards that were set on the field remains there, your opponent can't activate any other field spells, which is just huge. And the other field spell that we're actually running is the control aspect for the deck, and that's going to be 1 of the 2 copies of Mystic Mine. Basically, I can tell you right now, keeping your field small with the Kozmos is actually pretty good, because since the pilots replace himself with the ships, you can just basically keep the same number of monsters on the field, lower than your opponents. And then when you're ready to basically go off and basically put up a massive amount of damage on the board, you could always destroy Mystic Mine with the Metalfoes Scale to basically allow yourself to do that. You do open yourself up to your opponent's monsters effect, but by that time you probably have already taken those monsters off the field thanks to your own cards effect. So, awesome. Alright, some support cards. We have 1 Emergency Teleport because there's a lot of second type monsters in this deck to get on the field. Alright, we have the full Metalfoes Fusion as well as Metalfoes Fusions in the deck. There will be situations where you can bring out the fusions to help you out, which is good. Full Metalfoes Fusions, you can do that on your opponent's turn. Typically, you don't want to be going for something along the lines of Alka-Heist just to turn around and swipe your opponent's monsters. The Metalfoes Fusions, when you just use that and have this card in the graveyard, you can actually shuffle back in your deck to draw a card, so very awesome. Monster Reborn to bring back anything from the either graveyard, always handy to have in any deck. And of course, for the trap lineup, I'm actually running 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence, just for effect negations. 3 copies of Cosmojo. You target 1 Kozmo card on the field that you control, and then either and you destroy it. And then basically what you do then is you can target any card on your opponent's field or in the graveyard and banish it. So it's a great source of interruption against your opponent. totally awesome and very handy against the current meta. And then last but not least, I have 2 copies of Metalfoes Fusion. Whenever a card on your field is destroyed, you can flip this card face up, special summon a Metalfoes monster from your deck to the field. So it allows you to basically turn a lot of monsters into a double floater in situations if you're popping a ship for the Kozmos. And while this card's in the graveyard, you can actually banish it and get a face-up Kozmo pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, so you can always be able to set those scales and keep the scales live. Alright. That's it for the main deck. Extra deck. 1 copy of Metalfoes Mithrilium. Mithrilium can actually recycle back your Metalfoes cards, 2 Metalfoes cards from your graveyard back into your deck, and then bounce one of your opponent's monsters off the field, which is actually pretty good. A good compulsory evacuation device effect always can help out in tight situations. And if this card's ever destroyed by battle or card effect, it's sent to the graveyard. Alright, this is the big thing. You get another Metalfoes monster from the graveyard onto the field, which is just huge. Alright. Metalfoes Orichalc. Orichalc is actually pretty awesome. If your opponent has a defense position monster, it can inflict double piercing damage. And if this card is ever sent from the field to the graveyard, you can actually target one of your opponent's monsters on the field to destroy it. So it has a revenge pop effect on it as well, which is awesome. Of course, we have full Metalfoes Alkaheist. Alkaheist, during your opponent's turn, can swipe their special summon monsters and add their attack to its defense. And then you can actually utilize those equipped monsters as fusion materials for future fusions, which is actually pretty awesome. And then, of course, we got the 2 quote-unquote vanillas, Metalfoes Fusion, Adamantite, and Crimson Knight. Adamantite, this requires a Metalfoes monster plus any monster that's 2,500 attack or less. And then Crimson Knight requires a Metalfoes monster plus any 2 monsters that have 3,000 attack or less. So that's pretty much the entire decks of monsters right there. Alright. For some rank 4s, we got Abyss Dweller. Graveyard effects are a thing in this format, so you have to have this in your extra deck. Babushka to help stall. Great to have this card on the field in defense position just to annoy your opponent. Artifact Durandal. Typically, I usually bring this guy out games 2 or 3, especially when I side in Droll Lockbird, because this card has 2 effects. The first one turns any effect that's activated into destroy one of your opponent's spells or traps style effects, and the other one is, which is a quick effect, can basically shuffle both players' hands into the deck, and then you draw the same number of cards. If you have draw and lock in your hand, you're basically locking your opponent out of drawing. Pretty damn nasty, but it's awesome. Alright. We got the Cyber Dragon package here, Nova, going into Affinity. Affinity is a great negate, and it can slurp up monsters on the field. You got Red Eyes, Flame Rattle Dragon for a little effect damage. Always good to have, and it can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects either, so while it has material, so that's pretty awesome. For some links, generic link twos, IP Masquerena, just to basically be able to link someone during your opponent's turn, and then you could actually build into Topological Drisbania. Don't really run that many traps that you set on the field, but you can turn around and ruin your opponent's day by banishing him, especially if you're going up against back or heavy decks. And last but not least, you can also build into a Burl Sword Dragon. IP makes any monster to the point where it can't be destroyed by card effects. So adding that on top of the fact that Burl Sword can't be destroyed by battle gives you a pretty good idea of what you could be doing with this deck if you can build into these links. Alright. Guys, that is it for my updated Metalfoes Kozmo deck for February 2020, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I can tell you this right now, I really enjoyed playtesting this deck and getting this deck to where it is today. And I can tell you right now, it was so amazing. Alright guys, if you want to turn around and help the channel out, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Enable notifications so you don't miss any uploads. Check out the description box below. You get my links to my social media accounts. Follow me on Twitter, Reddit, as well as my Discord server link. Excuse me, this brain fart a little bit. If you want to help support the channel, guys, use my TCG Player affiliate link down below. It'll help me get better cards to bring you better content when you use it. Shop on tcgplayer.com. Alright guys, until next time, peace!